Hi guys, Mindy Brouse here, CC Foundation Instructor. This video is on Rembrandt, one of our master artists. Of course, he's amazing. So I just want to go over a little bit and then I will demonstrate what we're going to be doing. This project is from our Great Artists, Discovering Great Artists book. Page 29, Rembrandt Shadowy Faces. It's a little bit of a variation though. So I'm going to demonstrate, but also because it's easier to see understand a demonstration than it is to read it sometimes. Okay, so Rembrandt. You will have several of these for each class so that they can look at his art. Not all of it, obviously, but we'll have 6 pieces on this. I want you, of course, to remember to draw out some observations before you start the project. Don't spend more than 7 minutes on this part of the project. But so ask them what they notice. It really was hilarious when we practiced this with the 5, 8, and 11-year-old. The 11-year-old was like, it's all white people. I was like, yeah, that's true. Okay. We talked about that. We talked about the subjects. You can mention that Rembrandt's most common subject was himself, self-portraits, because he always had himself there. So he could always do that. If they do not draw out the idea of lit up faces, then you're going to need to do that. You can ask questions about what do you notice? What's the first thing your eye goes to? Questions like that. After that, ask him what is unusual or what does he do about the faces that makes them stand out and make them look a little bit different. And that's where you're going to start drawing on the shadows. All right, Rembrandt is known for, for many things, but one thing he is known for is that it looks like there is a spotlight, a gentle one on the subjects, okay, on the faces, and that lots of things are shadowy and darker around the edges, right? So we're going to focus on that. So remember, tutors say Rembrandt minimum of 7 times during the class. We want them to walk away from class knowing the project was on Rembrandt. So you will have this. You will also have this piece to start focusing on the shadows and noticing what he does there. All right, it's amazing work. I've been blessed to see a few, and they just blow your mind. So we're going to focus on this. All right, we're going to discuss this in tutor meeting. I'm going to let you discuss, and we'll decide as a group. But what the project will be is they will be doing portraits of somebody in class. All right, so you will have a lamp in class, and you're going to shine that on someone. I didn't plug it in, but you'll be able to see when you do a lamp. This is what we did with my daughter Chloe. She sat up against the wall, and then we did the lamp, and you can see the shadows, okay, on her face. So you're going to demonstrate that first. Again, this is all within the first 7 minutes or so, okay? So you're going to move along pretty decently. You're going to show them that, and then at tutor meeting we will discuss if we are going to switch the weeks and do this week 14 so I can take individual photos of every student so they can do a self-portrait with the shadows, or if we will take photos of you, the tutors, and they will do tutor portraits, all right? We'll discuss that in class, at our meeting. Regardless, it is going to be a portrait of somebody they know, either themselves or their tutor, and I will have a printout of that for them to look at, and they can compare to Rembrandt's piece and see how similar the light is, okay? Then they will have these pieces, these photographs in front of them. You'll have a few, so students, 2 to 3 students per photograph, okay? Now, when I practiced this with the 5, 8, and 11-year-old, we used white paper because that's what it said to do in the book. I really didn't like that. I feel like that doesn't really represent a Rembrandt well. So I talked to a friend who's an art teacher, and we decided to do this with black paper. Because what that will do is it will create the darkness around the portrait naturally. They won't have to color in that and make even more of a mess. That will naturally be there, okay? So we're gonna use black construction paper for this. It will be nice and sturdy. Today I have some less quality construction paper to demonstrate with, but you will have in class a good heavy duty construction paper. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through that now. But just remember, we're going to be saying Rembrandt a lot. We want them to know his master artist item of note, talent to vote, is highlighting faces with shadows really beautifully, okay? So, all right, let's Oh, isn't this amazing? So these are some self-portraits, not self-portraits of Chloe by the 8-year-old. She really got into it. We're going to talk about that a little bit, what to do with a student who's a real perfectionist. And then the 5-year-old. Okay. All right. So let's sit. We'll do this a little bit. I'm not going to do the entire portrait for you. Okay. I'm just going to get you started so you know what to do. Just like in the book, remember to refer to that, tutors. So you're going to start with, you're going to draw the edges of the chin and neck, hair, and lips. So you're going to do the face. They're going to do the outline of the face first. You can talk about that. What kind of shape is this? Is this a full circle? Is it an oval with a little dip? Things like that, okay? Then you're going to do the chin. Then you're going to do hairs and lips, all right? So now in class, we will have chalk. We're going to be doing this with chalk as opposed to pencil because chalk is much easier to sketch. And again, remember, I want to use different mediums with each project if I can to expose them to different mediums. But also because pencils make students feel very committed. They draw a line and they don't naturally kind of wisp it. That's probably not an art word for that. But they don't naturally sketch. They write with a pencil. So we're not going to be using pencils because we want them to feel a little bit more naturally maneuvering the medium around, okay? So we're going to use chalk. What does that mean? That means it's going to be messy, right? You're going to have wipes in class. Remember, you have sinks. You'll have wipes. You can put a wipe by each student if you want so they can touch. Something I want you to demonstrate, you will have a piece of paper for you. Something I'm learning as a director is that if you can do part of the project along with them, parallel to them, it will encourage them more to do the project as we're instructing. All right, so you'll have a piece of paper. Just have the wipes ready. It's just going to be messy, okay? All right, but so like I'm mentioning, we're going to be using these colors. We're not going to have the pink and greens and all of those out because that is not very Rembrandt-y, okay? Now, he will have some pink on their faces and we can have that, but we're not going to have the whole palette of chalk colors out. We're going to have flesh tones and black and grays to use for the face, okay? Now, on this black paper, if they use the dark brown or one of the dark grays, they will be able to see it, all right? If they want, though, they can use a flesh tone. We'll have several different flesh tones out. This dark brown is a flesh tone, of course, and so some other browns, and we'll have those varying shades, okay? So remember, we're going to start with face shape. So I'm going to go ahead. I like to do the dark brown first because I don't want it to be committed. Okay, big. The other thing I want you to remember is to tell them to fill the page. So Rembrandt's faces were the largest part for most of his pieces, but definitely the highlighted, okay? But since we're focusing on the face today, I want you to have them really fill the page with the face, not like a face up here and then a body, okay? So tell them to do it big. And again, you can demonstrate that with your paper. So I'm going to look at Chloe. She's got an oval face with a little bit of a dent down for her chin. All right, so we have the face. Then we're going to do, remember, since you chin and neck. Okay, so I've gotten her chin. I'm going to do her neck now. All right, next we're going to do nose, hair, and forehead. All right, her forehead's kind of there already, so I'm going to do her nose now. Okay, and then her lips. Chloe thinks she doesn't have very big lips. I think they're beautiful, but okay. And now her eyes, her eyebrows, and her eyes. Now remember not to say in class that you are not good at art, or you're not good at this. Okay, we're all learning. So you can say, oh, I'm learning how to do this too. Oh, this is a fun experience. Things like that, okay? All right, so I've gotten her eyes, nose, lips. Can you see that in the camera? Okay, good. Now I'm going to do her hair. So Chloe has a little bit of a heart there, so I'm going to do that. So I've got a little bit of a heart, and her hair goes this way. So I'm going to show that. This color works well for her because it is, this is kind of the color of her hair. Okay. So do you see how it's easier to sketch with this? As if the students were using a pencil, they would feel really committed. And we don't want that. We want them to play with this. Okay. So it's really important that we encourage them. All right. So, okay, her mouth is a little big in this, but that's okay. All right. So now I have her hair. I've done her lips, hair and forehead. All right. So this is pretty good. All right, we're getting going on this. All right, so after that initial outline, they can start doing the shadowing. Now, what the art teacher and I discussed when we were practicing this is to work with the light and leave some shadow. One of the things I learned in practicing this with the students is how naturally they will do a straight line for the shadows. So talk about that in this example. Are the shadows on his face in a direct straight line? No, right? You can see a line, but look, there's little bloops, that's an official term, out of color and light, okay? So I'm gonna start doing Chloe's face, and I'm gonna use this side, okay? And so I see a shadow there by her nose, so I'm going to kind of leave that. Now, this is the trick and tip that I really loved from the art teacher. So I'm going to share it with you. Pretend one finger is your paintbrush. We do not want them kind of going crazy with all their fingers. One finger will be their paintbrush, so it will be the smudger, okay? So, can you see I'm going to kind of smudge in here, kind of color in Chloe's face. And this is my paintbrush, my finger. All right, and then wherever I want more color, I can go in. Again, I am leaving, you can see, I am leaving a line for the shadows. But on her nose, I'm leaving right there on this side by her cheek is a dark shadow. So I'm leaving that right there. Okay? Right now she looks a little creepy because I need to fill in a little bit more. Leave that shadow under her chin. This is my paintbrush. It's tempting for me to use all these, so it's good for me to have been given that tip. Okay. Good. All right, so now there's less to color in on this side. So I'm going to look at it and I'm going to see she has some lightness above her eye and a little bit more over on this side. Her lip, a little bit more of her chin, but very little. A lot of shadow. You can see there's a little bit by her mouth. So in a weird way, instead of coloring or doing the shadows, we're doing the light and leaving the shadows for this. So can you see how we've left the shadows? All right, so now I can use and I can color her hair. Now I'm doing this pretty fast. The students are not, of course, going to do it this quickly. All right, and once they do their initial like this, they can start filling it in more. So, like I like some of this lighter brown. So I'm going to fill in some of the lighter brown for her hair now. Okay, and then I paint some in. I smudge. Now, you can also talk about, of course, that Rembrandt painted these. All right, he did this with paint. We're just using a different medium than he did. Okay, now I'm going to do the eyes because it'll look creepy if we don't have an eye filled in. It might look a little creepy anyway. Maybe a little bit. And I'm going to do, so we might have a blue for eyes. We'll talk about that in class. Not in class, we'll talk about it at tutor meeting, I mean. Encourage them to rinse their paintbrush off, and like I've been doing browns and I don't want to smudge this white with that. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, and let's see for her lips, a little bit of a pink, a dark pink. It's a little too pink. I might add a little red. Where'd that go? Okay. All right. So this, again, the kids can work on this as long as the time allows. Her eyes are a little off balance, but that's okay. All right. So we're working on Rembrandt, shadows and light, faces. Keep saying Rembrandt. Keep talking about highlighted faces, and let them have a great time creating these portraits. All right. Thanks, guys.